Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Now that I have a little bit of a voice, I want to go back and button up a couple of things. And one of the stories that we talked about here in the past was the Completionist, of course, and his downfall. Now, guys, I want to talk about this in the human aspect, right? How would you feel? How would anybody feel in his position? So let's just go back real quick and look at a couple of facts. How did all this get started? This got started because somebody within his camp snitched, basically. They didn't like him. He acted a certain type of way. And, some people let the story go out there from inside his camp, right? So at the very end, he really just has to blame himself for what's going on here, right? You just can't dismiss certain employees and think that they're not going to say anything, especially if they know a lot about you and things don't end up in good terms. That's always going to be something that's part of business. In his case, public image is everything. This case reminds me a lot of, so the Scooby-Doo mysteries, when at the end somebody gets busted and they said, I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those darn kids. In this case, I could have got away with it if it wasn't for Carl and Mudahar, right? Specifically Carl's, because that's his business. Right, that's his business nowadays, covering these kind of stories. And I want to go back to that, specifically referencing what's going on with Billy Mitchell. Now, as a human being that has lost everything, let's think about it. This guy has lost his career that he had built. He's lost his YouTube channel, pretty much is dead. He's lost his reputation. He's even lost his girl. I don't know how you lose all those things and not feel a certain kind of way of the people that cause all this to happen. Think about this. We live in an era, now where this is more commonplace, but this wasn't happening in YouTube back in the day. He was still operating like it was, back then. And I'm sure this guy's in a horrible spot, because let's just say that you are a completionist believer, right? And you're a big fan of him. The best you can hope for is that his family was handling these affairs and didn't have his best interest at heart. They didn't care about, his reputation on YouTube, at least not if they handled the money and they handled it in this way. That wasn't their priority. They probably had some other, you just have to speculate. They had something else in mind. Maybe they wanted to build a foundation in the end, and have that foundation provide jobs for people. I don't know. You can only speculate to what might have been. But at the end of the day, they didn't give out that money. That's what this controversy was all about. And because of that, because of the ramifications of that, it caused him to lose everything. And it was basically because of these two individuals that were researching, a charity that he had funded. And let's just take into account, and let's just say for the sake of this argument, for the sake of this exercise, and we don't know this to be true, but let's just say that all the allegations these gentlemen made about the foundation, not about him personally, right, but about the foundation, were accurate. We don't know what's going on in the background, right? It could be that his family managed the money and they just, really screwed him. And he's in a bad spot now because he can't really go and defend himself without throwing his family under the bus. After all, family is more important than everything. But if you're a normal human being, you're going to feel a certain kind of way about these guys completely destroying your life at a point where he was thinking, I'm going to go beyond YouTube, right? I want to get into the video game industry. I want to play characters in the industry. I want to do something else, something new. I want to advance my career. I want to do public speaking, whatever. Right? His studies, I believe, were in filmmaking or something like that. And now look at where he's at. And that's the unfortunate part of people who study and go into these areas of study, because your reputation in the end is everything, right? If he was a dentist, nobody would give a shit, right? If his background was in medicine or engineering or anything like that, you could lose your YouTube channel and still be okay. It wouldn't really affect your way of life because you have a solid education in the background, like Mudahar has, for example. If Mudahar lost his YouTube channel tomorrow, he would not care. He has a career that he's been building up, and he has something safe in the background. But when it comes to, for example, Carl Jobs and the Completionists here, they're kind of in the same, realm where somebody from the outside can come in and really mess with them. I mean, you can see what happened with Carl Jobs and his statements in court of how the Billy Mitchell trial affected him. And there is no way, just if you're a human being, forget how much you dislike this gentleman or whatever you have. As a human being, when you go through that much loss, I think it would be, disingenuous to say that the guy doesn't feel anything or anything like that. You just want to vilify him to that point. No, especially when it comes to affairs of the heart, man. You lose your girlfriend. It's happened to all of us. You lose somebody you love, you're going to feel a certain kind of way. Now, the fact that she walked away from him rather than walked away from a job should tell you everything about that relationship. But, she was a cutie in his eyes, and that has got to sting. And I would think it'd be for anybody out there would want some sort of retribution, right? Would want some sort of accountability. And would he have any type of case to do anything based on what's happened here? I don't know. I mean, the guy people were reporting him to the state because it's that kind of matter, right? That people felt that they could go and report this gentleman to the state for wrongdoing or whatever they did. I don't know exactly what the laws are, but that's what was being said. And if he's going through all this grief, if his life is turned upside down, man, you have to feel a certain kind of way, guys. Your blood is boiling. You're going through all those pains. Now, like I said, if you had something else, if you really value yourself in your education, if you're a man of standards and principles and what have you, you just say, you know what? All those friendships I lost, all those relationships I lost, if I lost them over this because they didn't believe me, they believed everything else, then they weren't really my friends at all. What the hell do I need them for? Right? If somebody is going to stop being my friend over YouTube, fuck them. If some woman's not going to see me because I'm not as popular on YouTube or because it might, ruin her career at the place she's at and she'd rather not change jobs, she can go straight to hell. Right? Those are not relationships you want in the end. But these people don't live in the regular world. When you hear them talking, they always talk about things through the veins of social media, right? That's the real point. Am I popular on YouTube? And in this case, when it comes to that point of view of the world, Gerard lost face in front of everybody. Nobody with an ego is going to feel okay with that. And the fact that he's been silent for so long, along with the threat of legal action that was made, along with, any family having some sort of pride, I would think somebody's working on something in the background. That would just be my guess. And I've said this before, look at Carl Jobs' situation. I don't think they could do much to Mudahar. But now that they're looking, and specifically the ramifications of the Billy Mitchell case, as you're looking how it unfolded, and not only how different these laws are in Australia, where they would have to go, if he wants to do anything, he would have to do the same thing as Billy Mitchell and spend that kind of money. And, his family does have that kind of money. Let's face it. Do you think Carl Jobs could stand another trial just like this one? Can he go back, right, to the same followers and rinse and repeat? Everybody's calling themselves a investigative journalist right now. Let me tell you, just because Wikipedia says so doesn't mean you are. That could be the business that you started, and all power to you. But you have to protect yourself and your family, especially if you're going to be doing in these realms, right? And a lot of these people, including Carl Jobs, which I criticize him for, make direct statements, right? Instead of saying, my opinion, I think this guy's an asshole. I don't have any proof, but, that's just, when I look at him, I just don't like him, whatever. Other than specifically saying this guy is X, this guy is Y. And I know for the fact that there's irrefutable, evidence. Anybody could be wrong, It's not that deep. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be that deep. But when these people are going to court now, they're framing everything under the guise of this guy is doing this so he can get more views, so he could get more money. Right? And if you imagine the completionist going to court, going to Australian court, and now Carl Jobs is going in for the second time, and hearing their lawyers make the same argument over and over again about the same things. This guy's creating controversy for the sake of making money. Some of it has to stick, right? It's like, you get a warning from the sheriff once, and then the second time when you do it, you just can't say the same excuse. Again, here in the U.S., it could be, it wouldn't be a case. I don't think so. But he's not a U.S. citizen, and he's not working there. So if this guy has any kind of malice, you could really affect anybody with the law, right? And in Canada, they don't have free speech like we do. So if if he's looking at both these individuals, probably not to, try to win a case, but really to make their life harder, right? Because one way, right, and this is just me being cynical, absolutely cynical. This guy's lost his whole career, his YouTube channel, everything. But if this guy goes against these people, right, for whatever he thinks he's been wronged, whatever it is, whatever the case may be, that could be his content moving forward. He definitely get more views than he's getting now with his, playthroughs. He could come back as something different. He could just try to develop another narrative. He has a film acting background. He can concoct a different story. He can become an actor, record his journey. Who knows? Who knows? I don't pass anything these days by YouTube and the things people do for fame and money. Right? And let me ask you out there, if you're just a normal person or normal human being and you're a father, a husband or whatever, and something like this fell on your lap, knowing that you could be sued for putting this out, would you put it out? Let me tell you, I wouldn't. I comment on things that have happened, and they're just commentaries. What I'm telling you is so you could be entertained. I don't know, maybe you're driving, maybe you're at school. I don't know the truth, right? These are just my opinions and just reflections of things that could happen and things that have to do with human nature. I don't know any human being, guys, and I mean it all. I don't know any human being that would have his life destroyed in this way, where you're losing career, where you're losing reputation, where you lost your revenue streams, where your company was destroyed and you had to let go of all your employees, and just to kick you right in the nuts, your girlfriend leaves you and you do nothing. I don't know that I could do that. I don't know. I'm never going to put myself in that position, right, where I put my eggs all in one basket so somebody can just come and screw with me in that way. But I think to the average person, I don't think they could take this laying down. I think he went the route of trying to regain everybody's trust, and that hasn't worked out because that's gone until he proves otherwise. And that, I think, might be what he's waiting for. This is just speculation. I don't know. I don't have any inside connections. But man, this is a hard pill to swallow. And I don't see this guy just taking it lying down. All right, humans, that's just an opinion for this Monday morning. I hope you have a great, productive week. I'm going through my last few weeks of work here before I go on vacation, my Christmas vacation. I'm blessed enough to do that. I want to thank you for stopping by. I want to thank you for subscribing. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps. I'm telling you, every view counts. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.